Well, sorry. Oh, you have it. Oh. Yeah, long run.
Okay, so
Well, I guess I better move.
we're going to kick it off here. David's going to do the announcements, so give him a round of applause. He comes up, we're going to get this started. I'm going to do Proposition 1 for a political reason, and then we will be on our way. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for everything you've done, will do, have done, could do, thought about doing, regretted, and etc.
Hello, baby. Sacred's intro checklist. Da-da-da. Welcome to Sacred Grounds with Dan Brady. As the current host of this locust running, sitting, and standing still open mic in the known and alternate universe. Serving up good food and fine poetry since 1972. Let's have a big hand for Teddy.
Back there.
And Fiona, who we haven't seen in months.
But still.
Our hosts. And please support this reading by enjoying the food and drink served here. Poetry of all kinds, ladies and gents, is welcome here. We respect the mic. That means keeping conversations to a whisper. Putting devices on mute, vibrate, or airline mode, and keeping to the time limit. Usually only 5 minutes, but that can change. That can change.
So if I have a 7-minute introduction to my 5-minute poem, how much time do I have left over?
Minus 2 minutes.
Okay, just checking.
Okay, then we got that clear. Please note our streaming link is handy in 5 ways. 1, why you can view conveniently enough from home. 2, family or friends can see you live or later on. 3, want to hear so-and-so? Good old so-and-so. We all remember so-and-so.
Yeah.
Poem again? You can. 4, do a self-critique. No problemo, mi amigo.
That's
Number
right.
5, and it is a way to put out the word. Yours, mine, hours and hours, minutes, seconds, and absolute eons, the word. And that brings us to our ongoing theme.
Which is...
Never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead. The evening's theme is... either 2 words or 1 words, indiscretion or indiscretion. Indiscretion or indiscretion.
Thank you.
And tonight's keynote is...
Oh,
wait. We're pleased to say our feature just walked in the door. The brilliant,
the wonderful, the magical
Bill Mercer.
Bill Mercer is in the house.
We'll give the Queen's Wave tonight.
Queen's Wave. There you go. Oh, and have a chicken Queen Wave.
Keynote is
Alan Harris.
Alan Harris also here. Amazing. Everybody's here. While our mini feature is
Tommy Abacola Mecca, who is either here or on his... He's not here, but will be here, he said.
Will be here. And the last word will be...
Christian, who is not in the house, and he will be open the second half and close it, so he is the clincher, closer, super duper bulldozer, and he may well show up. We don't know yet, but that's okay.
So we're 2 for 4. Okay, and now for our fabulous door prizes.
Fabulous door prizes, ladies and gentlemen.
1 window, 1 back door, 1 front door, and 1 door stop.
A side door with a side serving. Okay, Elizabeth Bishop, The Complete Poems. Just so you know.
It's great. It is absolutely the best.
Great writer, great collection. Boulevard. New works by lots of different people here. I don't know this essential, but it's $20, $40. I'll take that. Where did that come from? This book was from a free box. I just got. Anyway, so Boulevard, a nice collection from, I don't see the year on this here. Anyway, collection prose and poetry. Jack Hirschman, All That's Left. This is not All That's Left, but that's the book, All That's Left. And then we have Bukowski in a sundress. Kim Adonisio, Confessions from a Writing Life. Thanks to one of our fabulous writers who have brought this in, Karen Elizabeth Hoff. Thank you so much. And if those don't move your things, thank you. You can choose next week's theme or prompt. be the co-pilot like this individual here. He doesn't know what he's got him into.
Be the Pope.
Keynote, which we'll see in a minute. Mini feature, which Tommy is. And then the last word, which we have as Christian, who will show up or no, depending on how that goes. And that's the door prizes
If
for the
you
evening.
wish to record someone, ask permission.
Please.
We will assume you've done so should any of us notice recordings being made.
eBay. All right. Thank you. Now I'm going to read the proposition 1 here because I want to use this for another purpose. And so
I usually have someone else do this, but I will do this. Thank you so much. Ah, there he is, the country closer, super duper bulldozer. Thank you. I put my glasses on and I surprised my own hairy face. All right, so proposition 1 goes like this. Whereas warfare is the worst of all crimes in that it embodies, encourages, and rewards all others. Whereas the definition of war as used at the Nuremberg trials is meet for the purposes of this proposition. Therefore, we, the party of the first part, all citizens of any nations, all those who suffer from the effects and privations of war, who oppose it as a system, as a behavior, as a socially accepted institution, call for an end of war, cessation of all hostilities, the standing down of all military forces, and universal disarmament. Further, let it be known, we, the people, the party of the first part, state, by our assertion at this time and place that we stand opposed to the existence or use of military force as we now know it. All those in favor of this, proposition 1, please signify. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? We need to have an abstention. My friend said unanimity is undemocratic. So anyway, that takes care of proposition when it passes yet again. Thank you so much. And we're going to go right into the, is that the keynote next? Is it the keynote next? Isn't it the keynote next?
The keynote.
Keynote. Can keynote in the house. Alan Harris, come up forward, please. And
A key.
note the key.
A key.
A key. All right, let me make sure he's framed in there. Are you ready?
You want the mic to be here?
No, I don't want the mic to be. I want the mic to please you as you have never been pleased before. And you can take that to the bank.
About anything. So. Ready? I'd like to read 2 poems from a book by Charles Bukowski. I think it's his first collection of poetry. It's called "The Days Run Away Like Wild Horses Over the Hills." Yeah. And the first poem is called "For Jane." 225 days under grass, and you know more than I. They have taken your blood. You are a dry stick in a basket. Is this how it works? In this room, the hours of love still make shadows. When you left, you took almost everything. I kneel in the nights before tigers that will not let me be. What you were will not happen again. The tigers have found me, and I do not care.
Nice. Charles Bukowski, right?
Yeah, Charles Bukowski.
Hey, sure.
The second poem is called Peace. Oh, P-E-A-C-E. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Making that
Clarification.
distinction, right? I thought the dove was the bird of peace, but here they were, shooting them out of the brush and climbing up the sides of mountains and banging them down. And everywhere the doves went, there were the hunters blasting and beaming and blasting. And one man who didn't in the slightest resemble a dove was shot in the shoulder. And there were many complaints that the doves were smaller and scarcer than last year, but the way they fell through the air when you stung the life out of them was the same. And I was there too, but I couldn't shoot anything with a paintbrush. And a couple of them came over to my canvas and stood and stood and stood until I finally said, for God's sake, go look at Picasso and Rembrandt. Go look at Klee and Gauguin. Listen to a symphony by Mahler. And if you get anything out of that, come back and stare at my canvas. What the hell's wrong with him? The one guy said. He's nuts. They're all nuts, the other guy said. Anyhow, I got my 10 doves. Me too, his buddy said. Let's go home. We can have them in the pan by 2:30. Thank you.
Oh, Alan Harris, thank you so much. Charles Bukowski, read by Alan Harris. Thank you so much. And now, I'm going to read the first 5 people up so they know who they are, and they can't deny that they've heard their names. I do this in my classroom all the time, but it doesn't work nearly as well. We have Britt Peter, then Buford, Owen, Karen Huff, and then Jim. then before the mighty Hal Rubin. So give Britt a warm welcome here as he comes forward. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
Liberal flack. Don't say he hasn't gotten anything done. Ask the citizens of Yemen or the Nebraska farmer whose cornfield stinks of oil. Walk through the empty halls of many agencies. Buy a candle in San Juan. Little Donnie, the Gadadamarun kid, the vicious child, looks through the footlights with mean eyes, loves war and chaos. Since I'm in the neighborhood, Schrader Street, 1964. Commotion, chaos, community, an entire house for $125 a month.
Whoa.
Which we seldom had. Packed in like the Monkey Block or Throckmorton Arms. 3 poets, an anarchist, a royalist, 2 babies, 2 worried women, visitors, stayovers, stay-ons, a would-be assassin, a virgin, parchment scrolls hand-lettered of Shelley and Tolkien stanzas tacked to the wall, picket signs leaning against other walls. So much talk. Long sessions lubricated with brown derby and Guinness stout. Wars with the water company. Loads for the laundromat. Peroshki's 5 for $1. And radio baseball heard everywhere. Ron Herbal, 6 strong innings. Cepeda steals home. Lock the front door and go to the park before the fog comes in. And this is my son and I just came down the hill from the Legion of Honor, and this is a response to a beautiful little film made by Dick Moore of Phil Whalen back in the mid-60s. Fresh breeze. Fresh breeze through an open door. A rock holds a stack of poems. A morning walk to the Legion of Honor. Rodin's thinker drenched in fog. The sequestered saisons. A poet in his loneness observes the weather, the isolation of art, the signals and paths at the city's edge. Attempts to balance the burning mind. Walked home, preoccupied, his thoughts carried through the open door. Watered flowers in an upstairs flat. Tea steeping on the stove. A good pen. White paper. A writer's board. New, loose, divergent poems on a Friday. And the last one. Roots. Cut the fat from our deepest beliefs. A lean approach. A new directive. From each religion, kindness. Socialism, cooperation. Anarchism, freedom of association. Capitalism, pay the help.
Thank you. Thank you, Britt. And now we have Buford coming up. Give him a nice warm welcome. Buford, give him a nice warm welcome, please. There we go. All right. Thank you. And then we have Owen, Karen, Jim, Hal, Clara, David, Richard, someone named Dano. Who dat? I guess get really close.
I love you. I love you and your great attitude. You're the best. And even though you're not perfect, just like everyone else, I still think there's nobody as good as you. Like I said, I love you.
And I don't know if people noticed it, but Tommy is here. He went back there. So Tommy Avicolamek, give him a round of applause. He is our mini of the evening. He's doing some honoring back there. I don't know if he's capable of understanding that, but we want to make sure that. Oh, who is next? Oh, Owen Dunkel is next.
Great,
Huh?
Who's next?
Who's next? Thank you. And give Owen a round as he comes up here, please. There we go. There you go. That looks good.
Okay.
Prerogative.
Prerogative.
Is there an echo in here?
Prerogative.
Is there an echo in there?
That goes another prerogative.
I don't think so.
All right.
The Lost Poet. Everybody hear me? Waves. Waves walk and talk and sparkle and stumble their praise of the sand as horses race to meet the dawning sea, disguised as a never-changing radical pronoun. Hold me death. Croatian. The corn wind, sea flakes, deer sea feet, deep sea feet, fall around a snowbank of dry trees, caught all up in a whirlwind of the hailstorm of ill voices. A calliope of palaces climb up to the dry ground, mimicry of the ashes of leaves. Sonnet, Monday at dusk. I lift my feet along the way from light to heavy. The road of brightness rests on my load excitements upon the bay of sullen desuetude. I look at the big gray sky, the bus driven like a coach of old Dickens-like. Barkus is always willin', sang the cold feet. I'll put a socket at play ball. When the darkened hall of serenity I see in men with their wives look into the darkness of the small betrayal of their hollow eyes. Shouts of the 21st century storm the air of the sharp evening of an emptiness of care. Daybreak. Apples fall from the window. Tears lie in wait at my door. Leaves are quiet in late October. Cancel the sky of the poor. Use yours like sharpened pencils. Ride the bus once more. Feelings lost to the bric-a-brac. Stars that will for score. We think and talk in the sun. Red, meaty blood and gore. Our minds made up like yesterday. Confession they deadly bore. Sinners wail by my window. Cruel sounds I ignore. Gnashing continues throughout the day. Sleeping at night a chore. Noon, the poet like a Spanish shepherd sat in the sun, that hot, tough straw boss, cries of the shade of the trees, acquiesces to the fair banks of the leaves. Sonnet, Sunday 7. It was out of our time I jumped from the window. Another Sunday. Rain made my eyes blur. Speak of mine to the sun-filled chimes. An hour or so to gain of drinking again in Spain. Climbing up gargoyles to sublime excesses of the cap and bells. Gaudium Igitur, all sing to the sea. We wait for ants to cast their spells here and there. Leaves of green pea stare upward with eyes of stars as half-mad tenants pour from bars.
Thank you, Mr. Owen. Give him a round, please.
Thank you.
All right. Next is Karen Huff. We haven't seen her in a while, so it's really nice to see her again. A teacher of note and merit. Another round, please. Thank you, David, for your assistance.
Thank you, David. Well, as usual, didn't pay attention to the theme till the last minute, so cruising down Highway 66, 59 DeSoto, purring along at 92.5 miles an hour. I'm singing the second verse of Wooden Ships along with Crosby, Stills and Nash, because they obviously need a fourth, and I don't know why they chose Neil Young instead of me. But somehow, I missed indiscretion. Damn place is only 2 blocks long, population 172. When the dust storm hit, I sought refuge in a Motel 6. So now I'm incognito, wondering what it was I missed. Lesson 17. There are hurricanes, earthquakes, fires, threats of nuclear annihilation. Students asking me, is the world ending? Yes, it is always ending, and beginning and ending, and beginning somewhere between hope and despair, between creation and extinction. There is no guarantee that if you are a good girl, heaven will not have been obliterated by someone's bombs the week before you get there. Your assigned seating may have been eaten by a rabid meerkat. Your money worthless, based only on the taste of artificial salt on a politician's tongue. Still, if you learn to surf the cumulus clouds, speak to ravens, and listen to the conversation of stones, you may become the Messiah you are seeking. Conflagration. Sage green glass tabletop covered with ash, blown in through an open window during the night from a fire 60 miles north, where even the sky was burning. Relentless flames have swallowed cities, driven my husband's parents into the night without mementos of 9 decades, wrapped in resilience of having survived and loved this long. There is no such place as safe. Is having learned this 1,000 times the key to strength? To keep from drowning. There you go again, making love below decks with Ahab till he collapses into dreams, empty for once of cetacean taunts. You scramble barefoot to the foredeck, stand holding your sextant up to the full moon, chanting protection spells for the whale.
Karen Elizabeth Huff, welcome back. Here's Jim. Oh, Jim.
Jim Fitch.
Jim Fitch. The mighty Jim Fitch, as we like to say. Well, make sure that we just make sure the mic is good for you. And all set though.
I can speak loud.
All right. We'll make sure we got you.
Well, she spoke of my folks, and bless her. 2 homes in their neighborhood burned to the ground because the shingles were redwood. My dad resisted 7 years ago composite shingles, but they saved their home. How does one get to be 92? That said, when time was our friend, so it is a blessing, the rising sun, but that setting is a joy that brings the cover of night, the cover that brings us protection from that heavenly fire. What pain we all share with time's passage when is love empty? If it is love, is caring always joy? Can we carry the burden if we know it's the truth? Tears cried are noted as stains on time's logbook, or we can all jump up for the goodness. We can all point to the goodness and talk of it, revel in it, and as it praises us because we recognize it. But can we do the goodness? Can we put our shoulders to that wheel of goodness and make it roll? So comes the moonrise and the shadows of the night. The time stands in a state of grace, open-jawed at the light, and even more than that, the shadows. Are we not shadow-blessed, fleeting and defined by light, blessed by darkness? For I know that I love, but can I put my shoulder to that wheel? Can I hunt the night? But can I in justice pull that trigger? Do we all live in the twain of night and day, dusk and dawn? I can hunt the night with the moon on my shoulder, time in the shadows, so the sound of that shot in the moonlight, and time with our sunlight, I can hunt the night. So when we serve the night slow roasted in tequila sauce, with lime and cilantro by candlelight, with loved ones gathered round, all the noisy rabble-rousing of a great dinner party, as we dine on that night, hunted by that moonlight, roasted by tequila, toasted by friends and loved ones, we will end the fiesta with the dawn's early light, and shots of sunlight served by our monkey's uncle with a side of cold pizza to break our fast. So think now, because most of this I wrote years ago, but think now of the party we'll have when there's no more Trump.
Al Robbins, the esteemed or baked Al Robbins coming up there. Thank you. You're on there, buddy.
Okay. Sweeney Among the Nightingales by T.S. Eliot. Ape-neck Sweeney spreads his knees, letting his arms hang down to laugh. The zebra stripes along his jaw swelling to immaculate giraffe. The circles of the stormy moon slide westward toward the river plate. Death and the raven drift above, and Sweeney guards the hornet gate. Gloomy Orion and the dog are veiled and hushed the shrunken seas. The person in the Spanish cape tries to sit on Sweeney's knees, slips and pulls the tablecloth, overturns the coffee cup. Reorganized upon the floor, she yawns and draws her stocking up. The silent man in mocha brown leans on the windowsill and gapes. The waiter brings in oranges, bananas, figs, and hothouse grapes. The silent vertebrate in brown, contracts and concentrates, withdraws. Rachel, nay Robinovich, tears at the grapes with murderous paws. She and the lady in the cape are suspect, thought to be in league. Therefore, the man with heavy eyes declines the gambit, shows fatigue, leaves the room, and reappears outside the window, leaning in. Branches of wisteria circumscribe a golden grin. The host, with someone indistinct, converses at the door apart. The nightingales are singing near the convent of the Sacred Heart, and sang within the bloody wood when Agamemnon cried aloud and let their liquid siftings fall to stain the stiff, dishonored shroud. Okay, in 2.5 minutes I'll do this American poem by James Whitcomb Riley, once a very well-known and popular poet. Little Orphan Annie. Little orphan Annie's come to our house to stay, to wash the cups and saucers up and brush the crumbs away and shoo the chickens off the porch and make the fire and sweep and dust the hearth and bake the bread and earn her board and keep. But all us other chillin', when the supper things is done, we sits around the kitchen fire and has the mostest fun a-listening to the witch tales that Annie tells about, and the goblins that gets you if you don't watch out. And once there was a little boy who wouldn't say his prayers, and when he went to bed at night, away upstairs, his mammy heard him holler, and his daddy heard him bawl, and when they turned the covers down, he wasn't there at all. And they searched him in the rafter room, the cubby hole and press, they searched him up the chimney flue, and everywheres, I guess. But all they ever found was just his pants and roundabout, and the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. And once there was a little girl who used to laugh and grin, make fun of everybody and all her blood and kin. And once when there was company and old folks was there, she mocked 'em and she shocked 'em, and she said she didn't care. And then, just as she kicked her heels and turned to run and hide, there was two great big black things a-standing at her side, and they snatched her through the ceiling, for she knew what she's about. And the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. And little orphan Danny says that when the blaze is blue and the lamplight flickers and the wind goes woo, you better mind your parents and your teachers, fond and dear, and cherish them what loves you, and drive the orphans dear, and help the poor and needy ones that clusters all about, or the goblins will get you if you don't watch out.
He has the attribution sheet, something I try to hand out if you read something by someone else. Thank you, Hal.
Clara Sue is next.
Clara Sue, the honorable, well-known, and highly regarded.
She's back.
No, this is her front.
And back.
Thank you.
And side.
I can't get a word in edgeways with this guy. Thank you.
Oh, God. Scott here, too.
It's
No
really
pressure.
good to be back.
No pressure.
No pressure, really?
No pressure.
Oh, God.
Wait a minute.
Well, I've been working, and then I went to Australia for a couple of weeks, which was very nice. So these are Australian poems. a few of them are. And then I'm going to end with a poem that I translated while I was in Australia from a Chinese poet who lives in the 300 BC. His name is Ku Yun, and this poem is one of the it's called The Water Princess. Is one of the 9 songs that he wrote about the shamanic practices in China at that time. So the title of the Australian poems is Oz Dots, and Oz is how they call themselves, the Australians call themselves Oz. In the beginning there were dots, big dots, small dots, flying dots, sleepy dots, dots that clung together, dots that sailed, dots that broke apart into more dots that were the atoms. Creation language in rainbow dots, sand dots, waterhole dots, orange and yellow dots blooming on treetops, eyes of bird dots, dreaming dots, dots danced, collided, lines forming, rhythm tapping dots, telepathic dots, the world according to dots. Primitive beauty, once tarnished, disappears forever. The wind brings the train, pushing through bushes at 3:30 in the morning. The train brains the wind, creaking the house, little short gasp of music notes from the station down the hill. The wind sweeps like ocean waves. Blue horizon beyond the porch, eaten up by night, stirring the cold sand, a southerly wind. This is the Water Princess. The princess descends on the north bank, gazing with sadness, weakly blowing the west wind, making ripples on the lake Dongting. Leaves are falling. Rise upon the nut grass to see afar if the fortuitous time is near. Why do birds gather among the duckweed? Why do fish nets hung over the tree branch? River Yun has angelica. Lee Water has orchids. Thinking of my love, but dare not speak. In a daze, looking out. Watch the flowing water in slow motion. Why does an elk eat in the courtyard? Why does a dragon beside the water's edge? Morning ride on my horse by the river, crossing in the evening on the west bank, hearing my lover summoning, will rise and ride until all is past. Build a room in the water, patch the roof with lotus leaves, sweet flag walls, purple courtyard, pepper flowers strewn in the pavilion, cassia beams, orchid purling, lintels of magnolia, the bedroom. Periwinkle is knotted as shroud, plated split basil spreads on the floor. White jades as weights, dots with rock orchids, the aroma, angelica in lotus home, twining with a bast of wild ginger. 100 plants are gathered to enrich the abode, a fragrant symphony in every room. The gods of 9 peaks descend. They arrive like clouds. I fling my sleeves into the river. I cast my dress on the shore of Lee. From the water mound, pick Gallinger to leave them for the one far away. This time will not come again to linger in leisure. Thank you.
Wow. David Erdreich. David Erdreich. Give me a round of applause. Thank you, Claire. That was great. Love it. Woohoo!
Between Clara Sue and Richard Sandoval, pardon my indiscretion. For John Hendricks, who died on the 23rd.
Yes, thank you.
These windows open, these doors expand, these tales are tall, this piano grand. John Hendricks died 2 days ago. He spoke pop live, vocalese. Like a horn might blow. His lyrics jumped and skipped a beat, his music suited with crease replete. He spanned the globe, he was this country. Pay homage to a soul who could set your heart free. Thanksgiving Day, workers. I'm still learning the secret of non-recognition. Service is best when it is invisible. And today I wrote the old smoothie. If I cannot feast upon tropical heliconia, hummingbirds, quetzal, ant swarms, bajareke, euphonia, and coffee plantations while looking down upon double rainbows, then what is the point of breakfast in the temperate zone?
What is that?
And this is by one of my pseudonyms, Animal. Animal. It's titled LMN. We cannot take the darkest pitch and turn it into light without at least the slightest hint that day will turn to night. Within the heart of self abides a deeper living tree, a planetary comet ride connected to community. Accept the love that comes to you beyond the line that someone drew. Boundary line appears to halt. Tectonic plate appears at fault. Before the camera or the lens, paintings captured made amends. Eyes uncrossed, T's of dots, action propels, not what I got. You have to give until it steams. Follow coursing down the stream against the current. Spin equator on mountaintop. I'll see you later. Then whisper to the nearest cloud, silent spoken, laughs out loud. Integrate, disintegrate, in brambles we entangle. Area beneath the curve, the sound of a triangle. Hint was sent. Hue was cast. Exaggeration plus bombast can't hook the balance, nor hold fast, won't clear the decks, erect the mast. So chew upon this stalk of gruel, assume the motley, play the fool. Reverse the blame that others hurl, as lightning strikes around the world. Turn sideways, thinning every rail. Phosphorus lines the empty pail. Inner glow, outer sheen. Studs get hammered by ball peen. A globe, a cube. In retrospect, the play's the thing, so be direct. To bar, to cage, conceive a zoo. With wildness gone, our aim not true. Observe the habitat, the home, natural order, earth and loam. Honking goose, just take a gander. Beneath the pot, a salamander. If I could leap with legs of frog, settle quietly in the bog, travel on the turtle's back, touch the myrtle, smoke a stack of Bibles, Korans, Torahs, poof! Ditch the logic, find the proof. Mathematics, architecture, build a guild beyond prefecture. Preface, mirrors, novel confection. Selection, rejection, balanced connection. In choice, rejoice. Pursue the change. Cook up your home upon the range. Beneath my foot, my soul I wear. Unshaven, grisly, naked, bare.
What's number? Think I'm gonna blow your horn?
No, I'm going to blow for Richard.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're in the deep shit now.
And boy, it smells good. Have you ever tried to outguess the muse and found yourself wanting? A safe course through the woods, an easy ride atop the rapids, a slow hand in rush hour traffic, an instant end to the anger which lingers for half an hour, a lesson in less is more, or less is Paul, and Mary fords the stream to an endless peccadillo on the cheek. I find myself wanting, yet have no idea what I need.
Thank you. Thank you.
Richard Sanderell.
The Sanderell. Kindly come forward, please. And then after him is myself, Wendy, and then Martin Joseph before our teacher, Bill Mercer, for God's sakes.
Oh, not Bill Mercer. Really? Oh, I came in the wrong night. Oh, sorry.
You're cute, you know. Real
So
cute.
is Bill. I love Bill. Where is he?
He has nice ankles.
He
Oh,
left.
sorry.
I think he's outside. He's hiding.
That's
Anyway,
what I
I
would
just
be if I
want
were
to say
him.
something about Dan Brady.
Oh my God.
What a jerk. No, really. Dan works his ass off, in case you didn't know. There's two really hard-working curators in this town, and he's one of them.
Why, thank you.
So you need to know this is not an easy job. That's why nobody's volunteering for it. So just be thankful that he keeps doing it for us.
Thank you, Richard.
That's okay. I've got two short pieces and one little longer one. And Mr. Erdrich is going to join me on this one. It's called Black Robes. Black robes make the rules, brings religion. Black robes enforces black robes rules with their judgments. Religion befriends empires. Empires befriend religion when convenient. So the dog chases the tail around and around and around we all go. Wee, wee, wee. This incestuous marriage continues for those who believe. For us who believe the marriage is illegitimate, not so much. So everyone, thank both of them for bringing us in and legitimizing it. Ovations, please. All right, this one will be laid out more ways than one.
Nice device.
Thank you. It cost 5 toes.
Nice.
And this is a true story. Woman lives on 6th Street where sleaze reigns. Circumstances of health lands her here with health mentally, physically worsens. Given money for disability, enough to make sure she and others like her don't survive, begs on streets. Hospitalized, now an elder with disabilities, she doesn't have a social worker, discharged back to the Sleaze Hotel. Hospitalized for heart attacks, mini strokes, diabetes, she finally finds herself now on the streets after being discharged where the Sleazeback Hotel evicts her. No safety net here. Unable to afford quality food with no food stamps, little income is sentencing her to die. It's what's called food apartheid. The poor eat food poisoned with little nutrition. The wealthy afford organic. The wealthy mostly say nothing except to feed the hunger campaigns, which doesn't pay the freight. Trying to keep her emotions up, she frequently breaks down, weeping uncontrollably, until the body says, no more. It cost her 5 toes before she gets a social worker, decent medical, and a place to stay. As she is taken to her temporary housing, they drive through 6th Street, where she begins to scream, crying, thinking that they're taking her back to the sleazy hotel. Ambulance driver asks why she's crying, assuring her that they were not taking her back. It cost her 5 toes before she's noticed, receives help. Welcome to the Empire's health care plans.
This future may be yours. And the last piece, they sit like old men. They sit in front of cafe, talking, gossiping, like old men do from Ohio. People walk by, comments made on their dress, gay, straight, whatever. Some they laugh at, mostly at. As flesh and blood passes by in all its glory, tragedy, one moves closer with hand side of mouth to fellow gossiper's ear. Words said, they both pull apart and nod of laughter, guffaw. Someone pays the price. They sit in front of beer joints, cafes, churches, around our world where men universally rip others, set in judgments, reminding themselves of their superiority. On the mountaintop. Yes, San Francisco. You really do have a lot in common with Fort Recovery.
You're right. And the Sanderell. That's me, right? That's me, okay. Yeah. All right. So that brings us to me, Shan Brady, which, you know, the man.
As I like to say, it's not my fault. I didn't do this. I'm not asking for numbers, so I'm just going to read straight.
Oh, not bad.
Thank you. But I will ask A or B, just...
C. Oh, I want C.
Okay, that means B.
Thanks. You're wrong.
All right, so this was written about 10 years ago, something like that. And it's called The Archer, and it's that's the image that you use, but then it talks about the world as we know it. Okay. Not quite instantly does thought, the will to power, charge currents through neuron circuits to direct the broad of the back, sweep up the arms, command the hands and fingers, all implements of duty, as it has the eyes fix and focus. When drawing the bow to its set point, one aims, eyeing in as the breath is paused, held at bay with its gradual release. The sight is brought down and slowly drawn to the target. The decision to loose an arrow is as much a choice as it is a hope, and when loosed, the fletching flutters, and the shaft's line is always true to its mark, if not yours. 2. In the far, far north, still waters run the deeps. The ocean's conveyance is dispensed with, as is its salary. Thus time and the ice both grow thin. Thawing, the icy grip relaxes, and the remaining reserve, that breadth between running out and letting go, closes. Salute, I say, l'chaim. While we're here now, we may as well enjoy this intermission, this marvelous interlude, the calm before Mother Earth pulls, drawing back all the forces at her disposal, arching across the horizon to her set point. As she takes aim, though not only at us, but rather to her real target, which we just happen to obscure. Thank you. I mean, it's a kind of a bummer, but someone's. So this was written on the golden anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima. And it begins with some haiku, then it goes to what I call golden anniversary. You'll hear all that. Arizona, mothballed bombers, Arizona mothballed bombers, on a prop of high blue butterfly. Above ground zero, where those towers burned, gulls fly, unconcerned. And this is not, I didn't make this up. Abu Ghraib autopsy. Crushed larynx, blunt object trauma, homicide. That was on the autopsy report. Homicide. I think, hell, what? Waking up right now. Continuing on. September twilight. Our flag at its pole is not bestirred. Lower, lower the level of rice in the jar. Winter's job loss headlines. Golden anniversary. It hasn't always been styled prefab there. They've become our autochrome reflections, but Hiroshima still squirms within. Beneath our fleshly body it sips. It wasn't just the blaze of wind. Hiroshima kissed a mouth in the sky. No matter wherever, whenever we drink to it, it comes through even with 50 years insulation. We reinforce the bombs being put high above the Joint Command, in bed with Teller, Strangelove et al. Still, now, through every survivor's veins, its warm smoke and black rain courses, second by second. Hiroshima still waters their eyes. Think we're smug? Think we're snug? It is still sucking on us. It drinks to us. The parasite clutching onto our soul's mantle, and its silent roar echoes all the louder nowadays. Happy golden anniversary, my dear, and many, many returns. Thank you.
Next,
we have Wendy Walters.
Wendy Walters. She was going to clean the proverbial palette. Give her a round as she comes up here. Thank you, David.
Okay. I have to bring a little hope after that.
Thank you.
But in the truth is hope. So still have to realize the truth. This is a poem someone sent me. Actually, I sent in a newsletter that I got. And it's Thanksgiving related, called Introductions. Let's not say our names or what we do for a living. If we are married and how many times, single, straight, or vegan. Let's not mention how far we got in school, who we know, what we're good at or no good at all. Let's not hint at how much money we have or how little, where we go to church or that we don't, what our sun sign is, our Enneagram number, our personality type according to Jung, or whether we've ever been rolfed, arrested, psychoanalyzed, or artificially suntanned. Let's refrain, too, from stating any ills. What meds we're on, including probiotics, how many surgeries we've survived, or our children's problems. And please, let's not mention who we voted for in the last election. Let's do this instead. Let's start by telling just one small thing that costs us nothing but our attention. Something simple that nourishes the soul of our bones. how it was this morning, stooping to pet the sleeping dogs before going off to work. Or yesterday, walking in the woods, spotting that fungus on the stump of a maple, and astonishingly orange it glowed like a lamp. Or just now, the sound of your own breath rising or sinking at the end of this sentence. Yeah, I really do believe that if we don't catch the poignant moments, the moments that take your breath away, life will just be a hellhole. So, keeping wonder. And the place we used to live at in the Mission, from our window, we could really see the stars in that neighborhood really well at night. And I wrote this poem, well, where we were. And I wrote this poem because I was just so enraptured and in bliss when I would open the window and look out at the stars every night, right before bed. So it's called Night Sky. It was late, and I welcomed the sleep to come. Yet, one final ritual remained to be fulfilled. Approaching the window, I pulled the curtains aside for a peek at the sky. The dark night was splashed with creamy wafts of clouds, as if a painter had brushed the canvas in wild abandon. I sighed in awe of nature's rich palette of beauty, uplifted with the fresh, cool air. On another evening, a panorama of bright stars scattered the night sky. Could I count them all? No, too many, for I was about to fall asleep and join them in my dreams.
Oh, thank you. Wendy Walters, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. University. Oh, Wendy? Yeah, that's the attribution thing. So I was going to get to that, but I was applauding your.
Next.
Martin Joseph. Martin Joseph, will you kindly come hard, please? Oh. Give him a round, because then we're going to have our feature right after these.
Impeach.
Speech.
Impeach.
In apricot.
Thank you. We need sense.
Well, we're not going to do a button, but we're called Impeach Everyone.
Oh, yeah. It may come to that.
Good evening, Sacred Grounds.
Good evening, Martin also.
Tomorrow is my daughter's 40th birthday. That only comes once. So I wrote her this one. It's called A Pancake with No Wings. When you were only 2 years old, you drew some loops and other things. I asked you what to call the piece. You said, a pancake with no wings. If I squint, I can see the pancakes amidst other squiggly rings, but it never would have occurred to me that this pancake had no wings. We all start life with a blank slate, with an unencumbered mind. No association is impossible. Possibilities remain unassigned. Over time, we fill our neural nets. We groove pathways in things we are taught. We trade off possibilities for conclusions that others have bought. Back at Cafe Voltaire in Zurich, the Dadaists were born. They tried to unlearn everything they do and hold authority up to scorn. As for me, I think they have a point when the truth is left behind. You got to go back and find it, no matter what you have to unwind. But you already have the advantage. They were just trying to be like you. If they could see the world through the eyes of a child, they would consider it quite a coup. There was a time when you called me Dada, and now I call you Dada too. And so do all the ghosts from Cafe Voltaire who stick to you like glue. Now I'm pleased to see that you have kids of your own. They're going through these same stages. You encourage them to think the impossible, no matter what their age is. I ride in logic's saddle and think of many things, but none of these thoughts will lead me to a pancake with no wings.
Thank you, Martin Joseph, and now I have the distinct pleasure to have some distinct pleasure.
Just don't stink while you're doing it.
You know? Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, the feature for this evening, Mr. Bill Mercer. I think I met him here first. I think this is where we met, in this very room, 17,457 years ago.
Give or take.
Yeah, but who's counting? So, the thing is, he has a bass voice, a voice that reaches. He can be growly. He can be soft and sweet and light like a butterfly. Yes, he can be sweet. He can be dangerous. He tells it like it is. He has some great pieces that we've heard here that was, he's going to be this, he's going to be that. So he's going to give us a full measure of everything. Did you bring your books?
I brought a book.
He does have a book.
Typical.
Well,
Just typical.
you can probably talk him out of it for a small donation to the good cause. I always try to have teachers bring their things so that people can do that. But rather than listen to me praise this man, you will have reason to do that once you hear him in this venue, Red No. So I'm going to speak like this until you come forward and have him giving a big applause to this man.
Hard up! Okay, make sure you're set with that. Are you comfortable up there? Is that
Yeah.
good? All right. And we're going to make sure you're focused in. Go right on for the shoes there.
So I'm kind of going to move out of the cheerful mode, but
really,
yes. I'm going to try something a little different. So I ask your forbearance here. No matter what you do or say, time will come. No matter what you do or say, time will come and take it away. No matter what you do or say, time will come and take it away. No matter what you do or say, time will come and take it away. No matter what you do or say, time will come and take it away. Say, time away. No matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter. You left me here wasted, and I just stayed in bed. You left your cunt hair. I tied a knot in it. Then I wrote this poem. No matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter. Love spilled on the streets, veins opened by deceit. Love on the littered street. Clock calibrates the night. Street lights recapitulate the light. Passing car, headlights bright. Whining tires vacuum the night. No matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter. Love squandered on virility. Touch becomes an abstract poetry. Symbols explain the symbols. No singer for the song. Of thoughts we build a prison. no celebration of the burgeoning dawn. No matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter. Say time away. Say time away. Say love away. Say time away. Say time away. No matter, no matter, no matter, no matter. We met at the bus stop in front of the toy store. As we talked, the toy train in the window jumped the tracks and plowed through the tidy little town. Later, as I pulled myself from our burning wreckage in the middle of the tidy little town, I thought about omens and toy trains. No matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter. Say love away. I call it Zen, sitting here at the table protected by a half cup of cold coffee, letting it all slide by. People, thoughts, morning mist. I call it Zen. She calls it loafing. Say time away. Say I had not seen you for a while. Like a sponge you had become soggy with small talk. Then wherever I touched you, you bled gossip. Love. How can you feel in that prison of words, the walls of artifice, the naked rain upon your chest? Away. No matter, 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 no matter what you do or say, time will come and rip it, wash it, tear it, snare it, wear it. Time will come and they're stealing drugs from the nursing homes. The junkies must be fed. Blood on the bed. Red sun over the railroad tracks, the hovels of the dead. Blood on the bed. Freight train through my naked dreams. My mind is ruined, she said. Blood on the bed. The empty terror has claimed it all. There's nothing left in my head. Blood on the bed. Coupling in the sweaty night, we wonder where love fled. Blood on the bed. They're stealing drugs from the nursing homes. The junkies must be fed. Blood on the bed. Time will come and time will come and time will come and time will command. Time will command. No matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter. No matter, no matter, no matter, no matter, no matter. Morning cradles a lap full of sorrow. Daylight along the crease of our pain. Morning comes as we huddle together. Daylight comes and we're never the same. No matter, no matter, no matter. Morning brings a hollow confusion. Daylight brings the beginning of shame. No matter, no matter, no matter. Morning cradles a lap full of sorrow. daylight along the threshold of pain. Say, time away. Clothed in all the little compromises, when we took off our clothes, we were no longer naked. Say, time away. Don't forget, you are still naked inside all of that armor plate. Say, time away. We look through the same mask, not through the same eyes. But I have seen the scalps hanging there in your cellar. Don't tell me I don't know you. Say, love away. I tapped your memory until, like an overhit vein, it just collapsed. Say, love away. No matter what you do or say, time will come and take it away.
That was Bill Mercer, ladies and gentlemen. Great feature. All right. Well done, Bill. Bill, well done. That was well done, Bill.
Well done, Bill.
And I haven't heard stuff from that book.
No, you haven't. This is the first time. But this is my virgin trip with this book.
Oh, there you go. That's why. I didn't know. All right. I'm going to put this device on pause so those individuals who wish to talk freely may talk freely. And